The Philippines has a name that sounds simple, but almost no one stops to ask where it actually came from. And once you start looking, you realize the answer is not as simple as it seems. Because long ago, these islands did not have one single name. In fact, different groups lived across thousands of islands, different languages, different cultures. So from the outside, it was just unknown land scattered across the ocean. And that is where everything begins to change. Because in the 1500s, Spanish ships began arriving in the region. They were not just exploring, they were mapping everything they saw. And every map needs names. So the question became, what do you call these islands? To answer that question, we need to follow one Spanish expedition that would leave a lasting mark on history.
To answer that question, we need to follow one Spanish expedition that would leave a lasting mark on history. At that time, Spain was expanding across the world. New lands were being named as part of a growing empire. And one expedition would quietly give these islands a new identity. An explorer named Ruy López de Villalobos arrived in the region. And when he mapped parts of the islands, he gave them a name: Las Islas Filipinas. But here's something many people do not realize. At first, that name did not refer to the entire archipelago. It was used for only a portion of the islands. Even so, the name would survive long after the expedition ended. And the reason it survived begins with the man it was named after. The name was chosen in honor of a royal figure in Spain, Prince Philip. And here is where the story becomes even more unusual. That prince later became King Philip II of Spain. But despite having his name attached to the islands, he never once set foot on them. He never visited, he never lived there. Yet his name traveled farther than he ever did. As maps spread across Europe, the name spread with them. Little by little, Las Islas Filipinas became associated with more and more of the archipelago. And once a name starts appearing on maps, something powerful begins to happen. It gets copied again and again. It gets written into official documents. It gets used by sailors, merchants, and governments. And over time, it becomes reality to the rest of the world. Not because the people living there chose it, but because it was repeated enough times to stick. Eventually, Las Islas Filipinas evolved into the name we know today, the Philippines. So when you hear the word Philippines, you are hearing a name that came from a prince who never saw the islands, and from maps that shaped history without most people realizing it. And that is only one of many hidden stories behind the Philippines. If you want to uncover more forgotten history and hidden stories from the archipelago, subscribe to Beneath the Archipelago.